Welcome to my channel once again. For those who don't know me, my name is Sammy. I worked in this base for about 14 plus years. In today's video, I want to show you a few buildings and structures that supported naval operations. Right behind me, there's one of these buildings called, for us, the old Marine Ocean Engineering. When we closed the base, this was a welding shop at the time. Like you see, it's all abandoned. There's nothing here right now. I will show you a little bit around. I will also take you to other structures, other buildings that supported the operations, and with that, the Ensenada Honda Bay, which docked many vessels for the Navy in support of the operations. We will see that as well. So, with that said, let me take you on a small tour around this building, and then we'll move to the next. These three buildings behind me are called a torpedo shop. What would be the Navy without ordnance, torpedoes, right? For the submarines. Well, in this building, we used to restore the torpedoes practice torpedoes, obviously, that were used during operations. So the guys would clean them up, refuel, and put them back to service for other training purposes. A lot of folks used to work in this building supporting that operations. So this is what we used to know as the torpedo shop. Let's see inside a few of these buildings. This is what's left, pretty much. These buildings connect each other. It's an interesting, here's an interesting sign here. I'll show you. The building number still around. Those folks that work in the torpedo shop would know exactly which building this was. Let's go inside. It's all empty out. Let's go check out the other side. I'll go around the building. We'll check out the other side now. This is the other side of these three buildings. Other buildings in support of the operations in this side included dirty room, which I don't recall which building was. It could be the one right in front of me. I'll show you. But as you can see, they're all empty out. As far as the type of torpedoes that were serviced, Mark 48, which is the largest one, Mark 46, just smaller torpedo. At a time, we had Mk 50 as well, serviced in this facility. That's what I recall. And the Mark 46, there was another one we call Rex Torp as well. Launch both from submarines, airplanes, and even helicopters would drop the smaller torpedo Mark 46. I'll try to find some pictures of those and put in the video as well. So let's go see one of the other buildings that supported the operations as well. The Marine Ocean Engineering office, which I already showed you the old building, and now I will try to show you the last building that housed that department. See you there. Here we are, folks, in the other building. This building used to be the Marine Ocean Engineering Department building, where some vessels were supported, maintained, and operated from these offices. The boats were in support of the naval operations, specifically recovering torpedoes, the Mark 48s and 46 that we talked about in the other building. So in support of those operations, some vessels were operated, U.S. Naval ship Hunter, U.S. Naval ship Hugo, a few target boats also called Septars, QSD 35, as the Navy numbered them. Alongside we other smaller ships like TRB 3. There used to be a tugboat called YTM 404, and also a landing craft that was used during the Vietnam era, but was used in these operations as well to transport vehicles to the neighboring island, Vieques, and sometimes Culebras, St. Thomas, and St. Croix, in support of operations as well. The YF-81, which is the landing craft. On this side, we'll see the side of the building and another building which was was in support of smaller vessels that operated with outboard engines. And this is what we used to call the outboard shop. As you can see in the video, I'm very familiar with this area since this is one of the buildings that I worked in with a bunch of other fellow co-workers, about 35, 36 at any given time, including captains. There's a few captains for all those boats. So this is what's left of these buildings. So take a peek inside. Right behind me, the other building, the other Marine Ocean Engineering building. For some time, they used to operate through this building and moved to the building that you saw a little while ago. But this is the other Marine Ocean Engineering building, located right in front of Pier 3, for those familiar with the terminology, and Bucket Delta. This is how it looks at the moment. And here we are. That's Pier 3 right behind me. Bucket Delta. As you can see, a very nice day. Calm waters today. Ensenada on the Bay. This is where it sits at. If you look at a chart or a Puerto Rico map, you will see Ensenada on the Bay in Ceiba. And this is Pier 3, the long pier that you see right behind me. It's Pier 3. There's a barge there. Not sure what that is right now because there was nothing there for some time now. Let's go take a look at Pier 3 a little closer. See you there. It's Pier 3. For those of you that saw it, full of vessels, it's empty now. A lot of ships used to dock in this pier, including submarines. One of the biggest ships I saw docked in this building was the USS Bataan, Those of you that are familiar with the Navy or can look it up, can Google it up. I don't think that boat's in service anymore. But that USS Bataan was brought the last year or so of the base when they needed to vacate the civilians from Vieques in order to continue conducting the last operations that they would do in this base. Quite a scene. This side, Bucket Delta, is where we used to dock at the YFU in this corner. On this other side, some target boats called Sceptars. On the distance in front of me, I'll show you, we can see the surface operations building, or surface ops as we called it. And the only thing operating at this point on the piers is the ships to Vieques and Culebra, or ferries, pretty much, which we will see. Can't get too close there because apparently they're not too friendly with cyclists and anybody with a camera. But I get to see as close as we can. Here's the surface ops building where all the operations were handled for entering and exiting the bay. All vessels entering and exiting the bay would have to make a call to surface ops to inform of their arrival and departure at all times. That's the vessels that transport people and cars to Vieques and Culebras. At the point they moved it to the base, and that's what's operating. Getting in it from here, can't get too close. Like I said earlier, not too friendly with people with a camera and even cyclists. So that's all you will see. This is how close I can get. This is the fuel pier, folks. The new fuel pier. Beside it's the old fuel pier. This one built sometime after the year 1995, 96, around that area, around that time frame is what I recall. I may be wrong, but if you know the year it was built, please put it in the comments below. We'll take a look. I'll ride the bike all the way to the end of the pier. part of the field pier. Berth 1, Station 5, Berth 1, Berth 2, and Berth 3 for naval vessels to refuel. Being used by civilians at this time for a little bit of fishing, which is not bad, given that there's nothing else going on with this pier. I don't think there's any means to restore it, but we'll see what happens in the future. But this is how it looks today. And that's the entrance over here. I'll try to cover the entrance of Ensenada on the bay. There's still some buoys left. That's the entrance right there, the base. You can see Vieques in the back there. The point, the housing area that I covered in an earlier video. On this side, on the far side here, we see the Coast Guard pier, which we'll see a little bit later in this video as well. Just have to get there on the bicycle. All the way in the background there, see some of the tanks, fuel tanks. I got pictures of some of them. I will put in the video as well. All right, folks. This is for this side of the base. Like I said, we'll see the Coast Guard pier next. If you like the video so far, like and subscribe, which helps the channel and lets me create more videos of this amazing place in the base and other places that I would like to cover as well. Vieques, maybe Culebras, but we'll see, because Vieques is right now, don't know if I can get to the base. Haven't been to Vieques since this base closed down in 2003, so not sure how Vieques looks at this time. All right, see you in the Coast Guard Cutter Pier. Coast Guard Pier here, folks. This is the last pier that I will be visiting on this video. Like you see, it's all destroyed. Hurricane Maria took a toll on it as well and destroyed the structure that was there. Used to see Coast Guard cutters all the time here patrolling the Caribbean Sea. I know some folks will relate to the place. That's the building right there. Some civilians using it to fish, which is nice to see. Well, that's it. See you in the next video, folks. I hope you liked it. Bye.